All right, let's dive into a pretty radical new vision for the future of programming, for technology, and honestly, maybe even for the planet. It's a story that somehow connects our morning breakfast to those massive data centers that power our digital world. And it proposes a whole new blueprint for building software that actually lasts.
So it really all kicks off with this simple, almost silly sounding question. But the answer reveals this huge problem that's hiding in plain sight inside almost every piece of software we use. It uncovers a fundamental flaw in how we've been building our digital world, and it points us toward a much, much more sustainable future.
And that brings us to our first section. This is where we get to the heart of the problem that really sparked this entire movement. It's all about something that is absolutely essential, yet it's almost always invisible, and in a lot of cases, it's just completely missing.
So the founder of this whole idea, Valeri Rockatine, he found something that was, well, deeply unsettling. When he'd asked developers to just show him the algorithm, the core idea, the business logic behind what they were building, they couldn't. They'd point to different lines of code, sure, but the algorithm itself, that pure concept, was floating around somewhere else, totally separate, and often it was never even clearly defined to begin with.
Okay, this is where that bagel question starts to make sense, and I think this visual is brilliant. Most programs today, he says, are bagels. The code is the dough, right? But the algorithm, the most essential part, is just the hole in the middle. It's not actually in the code. And because of that, the software becomes incredibly hard and expensive to maintain. The goal? To create muffins, where that logic, that algorithm, is baked right in from the start. That's what makes software durable, easy to adapt, and truly sustainable.
So let's jump to our next section, because this is where we see how that seemingly small coding problem scales up into a massive global crisis. When you take that wasteful bagel approach and multiply it by millions of developers and billions of devices, well, the consequences are just enormous. Look, the tech industry's environmental impact is huge, and it's getting bigger every year. We're talking about the colossal amount of energy being guzzled by data centers, the literal mountains of e-waste from phones and laptops that are obsolete because of bloated software, and of course, the soaring carbon emissions tied to every part of our digital lives. But here's the real kicker. A critical piece of the puzzle was missing from the global conversation. The United Nations' own 2024 report on the digital economy, this huge, comprehensive document, it completely overlooked how the way we actually write software is contributing to all this pollution. It was a massive blind spot in the worldwide discussion on sustainability. So, and this is crucial, he didn't just notice this and complain about it. This was a call to action. He went and engaged directly with the UN, arguing that software methodologies are just as important to sustainability as, say, the choice of building materials in construction. It's not just about what you build, it's all about how you build it. This realization leads us straight to the philosophical solution, a completely new way of thinking about what sustainability even means in our digital age. It's about looking past just counting carbon emissions and focusing on the very DNA of our software. And you can really see the journey of the idea itself right here on this timeline. It started out with a really practical focus on just making code adaptable. Then it got a bit more formal with specific methodologies. And finally, after that whole engagement with the UN, it broadened into this huge, comprehensive philosophy that considers the entire life cycle of software, from the first spark of an idea to its eventual retirement. At the very heart of this new philosophy is MLS. It totally shifts the focus. Instead of just asking how fast code runs on a server, it asks about the legacy it's going to leave behind. It asks, is this software actually designed to last? Can it be repaired? Or is it just contributing to that endless cycle of digital waste? And it's so important to get this straight. MLS is not just another way to measure our footprint. We've got tools for that already, like the Lifecycle Sustainability Assessment, or LCSA. No, MLS is a blueprint for designing systems that just inherently have a smaller footprint to begin with. It's about building sustainability in from the very first sketch, not just measuring the damage after the fact. Okay, so you've got this powerful philosophy. How in the world do you turn it into a practical global reality? The current systems seem completely locked into that wasteful bagel model. To change course, you need a totally new kind of vessel, what the founder calls a Noah's Ark for developers. It's an ecosystem designed to weather the two biggest storms on the horizon, environmental crisis and AI-driven job displacement. The proposed solution is the Eco Programming Alliance, or EPADAO. Now, I know, before all the jargon throws you off, let's just break down why it's built this way. It's a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, which basically means it's a community owned and run by its members, not some top-down corporation. That structure is specifically chosen to make sure its mission of sustainability can't be compromised. And it uses blockchain to create a transparent, global foundation for this whole community to work together and grow. So this ecosystem stands on three main pillars. First, it completely reimagines the developer's role in the age of AI. They're called centaurs, programmers who work side by side with AI, enhancing their skills instead of being replaced. Second, these developers form teams to build real-world, sustainable software. And finally, a totally unique financial engine, a sort of crypto-powered bank, powers the whole system, creating a self-sufficient economy and a brand new career path for everyone involved. The whole thing is powered by its own digital currency, the EPAT token. And just look at this distribution. It tells you everything you need to know. This is fundamentally a community-driven project. A full 50% of the total supply is dedicated directly to its members, whether that's through sales, rewards for their contributions, or incentives for helping the network grow. Now, this crypto neobank, this is the real game changer, especially because it speaks directly to the anxieties of so many modern developers. In a world where AI is changing the job market every day, this isn't just a bank. It's a whole new career hub. It gives out grants to help you retrain for this new AI-driven reality. And its reputation system cares about your proven skills, not just a piece of paper. You get actively rewarded not just for your own work, but for helping the entire community adapt and succeed together. And hey, this isn't just some vague dream. There's a concrete plan here to make it all happen. The foundation gets laid in early 2026, member registration and the coin offering follow that, and the full ecosystem is planned to be live and running by the end of that year. And then, the retraining and the actual projects get started right after. So when you step back and look at it, this whole initiative offers a really bold, integrated solution to two of tech's absolute biggest challenges: its own environmental mess and the looming threat of AI taking over jobs. It gives us a blueprint for a future where technology could actually work in harmony with the planet and where programmers are empowered, not replaced. The arc is designed and ready to go. The only question left is, will the developers come aboard?